Hello everyone, in this video we're going to explore the inequalities in two triangles. First, we'll talk about the Hinge Theorem. Another name of the Hinge Theorem is SAS Inequality Theorem, which is one angle is between two sides, right? Now, given triangle ABC and SYZ, where the measure of angle A greater than measure of angle S, right? Look at this one right here. And this one right here, and AB right here must be congruent to SY, AC must be congruent to SC, right? Then you have the side that opposite to angle A is BC, and the side opposite to angle S is YC. Since angle A greater than angle S, then BC must be greater than YC. Alright, the converse of the Hinge Theorem. That's equal SAS Inequality Theorem. Alright, given AB congruent to SY, AC congruent to SC, and BC greater than YC, right? Since BC opposite to angle A, YC opposite to angle S, then you have the measure of angle A greater than measure of angle S, right? Now, the converse to the side angle relationship theorem. Given triangle ABC, the measure of angle A greater than measure of angle B. Look at this one right here, and this guy right here, right? Now, the side length opposite triangle A is BC. Side length opposite triangle B is AC, right? So then you have BC greater than AC. And the last one, triangle inequality theorem. The sum of two sides always bigger than the remaining side. Alright, so we have SY plus YC greater than SC, right? YZ plus SC greater than SY, right? And the last one, SZ plus SY greater than YC, right? Now, example number 1, we're going to apply the Hinge Theorem. Which of the following statements must be true? I observe that this guy right here congruent to this guy, right? This guy right here congruent to this guy, right? Then the angle A right here is 90 degrees. Angle O right here is 70 degrees. Draw the arrow right here. Draw the arrow right here. Because SK opposite to 90 and YU opposite to 70, right? Then you have SK greater than YU, right? So it's going to be C. Now, here's how you show your work. Now, example number 2. Apply the converse of the Hinge Theorem. What is the range of possible values for S in the picture at right? Alright. Consider triangle RUS and triangle TUS. We have RU congruent to TU, right? We have SU congruent to SU, right? By reflexive property. Now, since RS equals 15, ST equals 10, right? So, the angle that opposite to 15 is 60 degrees right here. And angle opposite to 10 is going to be 5S minus 20 right here, right? So, by the converse of the Hinge Theorem, we conclude that 5S minus 20 must be less than 60. And we're going to solve for S, right? So we have 5S less than 80. Divide both sides by 5S less than 16, right? Moreover, this guy right here must be greater than 0, right? So you have 5S minus 20 greater than 0. Add 20 both sides, you have 5S greater than 20. Divide both sides by 5S greater than 4, right? So the range for S should be 4 less than S less than 16, right? Now let's move on to assignment number 3. We're going to prove the relationship in triangles. Now given BA congruent to DE right here. BE greater than DA, this guy right here, greater than this guy, right? Now we need to prove that the measure of angle BAE, which is this guy right here, greater than the measure of angle BEA, which is this guy right here. Now we consider triangle BAE and triangle DAE, right? We're going to separate these two triangles. So it could be something like this. Now we have BA congruent to DE given, right here. We have AE congruent to AE reflexive property, right? And we have BE right here greater than AD, right? It's going to be right here. By the converse of the Hinge theorem, we can conclude that angle A right here, which is BAE, greater than angle DEA right here, right? Now we're going to go back to this picture right here. Since angle DEA equals angle DEB plus angle BEA, right? Look at these two small angles right here, right? So then we can conclude that angle DEA bigger than angle AEB, right? This one right here bigger than the smaller one right here. By the transitive property, you can conclude that the measure of angle BAE bigger than the measure of angle BEA, right? That's finished the proof. And it's your time to stop. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that if you failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine.